Hello and welcome to Were You Not Entertained? I'm Daniel.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm James.
And today we're going to cover Nobody.
Yes.
Yep.
The movie Nobody, not Nobody as in a person. Anyway.
Yeah, as in we're not going to cover anyone today.
Yes.
So
We're here to cover nothing and nobody.
We're here to not do a non-podcast.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those days.
So, this came out in March of this year, which was a bad time to go to the theaters. So we had to wait a little while to see it. And it's got a pretty big cast, pretty famous. I can't think of the word.
Distinguished? I don't know.
Oh, man.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
Yeah, I was like, this is going to be great.
It's got it is definitely one of those days.
English
Lots of people
failed
acting
me.
in the movie.
Yeah, so it has it's not an all-star cast, but it does have some good actors in it.
I would say it's pretty close to an all-star cast, man. There's some incredible actors.
Well, especially because it's a small cast.
Yeah.
Your main characters, there's only a couple of people that are really key in this movie, and there's some big names.
Yeah, I mean, Christopher Lloyd, Michael Ironside, Bob Odenkirk.
Bob Odenkirk.
Connie Nielsen.
But that's like, well,
RZA.
The RZA, and then Colin Salmon. I'm sure it's pronounced differently.
Solomon.
Yeah, I would imagine it is Solomon. Anyway,
but you're right. I prefer salmon.
Yeah, it's just funnier. But like Colin, RZA, Christopher Lloyd was in it, but like the RZA, he's got a few parts where he talks, and then he's in it for 5 minutes or so,
maybe. Yeah.
Just seems like the rest of it, like Alinsky Serber.
Alexi?
Yeah, Alexi. Yes, see?
Yeah.
There we go.
That's why you're here, Rachel.
Yeah.
Because neither Daniel or I can say anyone's name.
What's the last name then?
I mean, I would think it's Serebryakov, but
Sabryakov. Okay,
I could be wrong.
No, that makes sense. That
makes a lot of sense, actually.
It's a lot better than where I was going with it.
He's just adding syllables.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just making stuff up as I go. It's not like it's written down in front of me or anything. I'm just guessing.
It's easier.
But yeah, guys, back to topic. You're right. It's not just packed with stars from top to bottom, and most of the roles are pretty side roles. They're definitely supporting roles. This is really a Bob Odenkirk movie. He carries it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting to see him in a role like this. Like, you have Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, and he's had those roles, but those aren't really him in an action role at all. It has like the criminality to it, kind of like this does once he finally flips the switch.
It reminds me of Taken in that regard. An actor known for other kinds of roles, a few years down the road ends up turning into an action star.
Right. Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, I did not expect the level of physicality from him.
Yeah.
It was great. I think he did such a phenomenal job in this.
Well, and it was believable. He wasn't like doing backflips and landing on people's shoulders to pile drive him into the,
he was not walking out of those situations untouched.
No.
Yeah.
He took his beatings.
No, and that's what we had talked about a little bit, is to me, it almost felt like initially, spoilers ahead, initially when they're on the bus, it almost had this quality like he was a little rusty to me. And so it just took him some time to get back into it. But Daniel said he seemed more like he came from a point of wanting some abuse.
Yeah.
I think both of those things are true. I mean, I think that there's a difference in his ability to kick some ass, in the beginning of and the end of the movie, and there's a good transition there. But yeah, I definitely agree too that he seemed like he was so itching for a fight that I think he was also itching to take a punch, because he literally, it seemed like, took the first punch intentionally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He did nothing. He didn't move. He didn't block. He just punched to the face. Thank you. Mm-hmm. And then I'll take another. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah. And it's definitely felt like a good evolution of how he started seeming kind of rusty, but thoroughly capable. Whereas towards the end, it felt like he had found his stride again.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was very capable at the end. It's a dangerous man.
He found his groove.
Yeah, I thought that was great. And I also thought that Christopher Lloyd was one of the best parts of this whole movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. He was so fun, especially at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Watching him tear it up.
Yeah, he was just enjoying life.
Yeah, I really appreciated the use of him in this, because I think it would have been really easy to allow him to chew the scenery a little bit more, but actually using him a little less felt more precious when he was on screen. I really appreciated Christopher Lloyd's performance in this movie, and the editing to put him in just the right amount at the right times.
Right.
Yeah, and I like how much fighting he did, because I think it would have been really easy to sort of maybe write him off as an older character. And while he didn't do a whole lot of the physical side of fighting, he was still an incredible shot.
Yeah, he wasn't fighting, he was shooting.
He was super integral in that sense. And I really liked that, because typically in a movie like this, somebody at his age would sort of just be in the background or just be for comedy or other filler like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that they had him in just the right moments. It was enough to get you a little bit of backstory. He goes and visits his dad every once in a while, see how he's doing. His dad just sits there watching Westerns all day until he comes back. Until Hutch comes back to go get his jacket and the badge that's expired and all that. And, you just get him for a brief second where he's just kind of like, what you doing? It's like, I got to go take care of something. All right, do it good.
Yep.
And then that was the end of it for a little while, until he was being warned that people might be coming after him.
Mm-hmm. And
so that's when you kind of see his capabilities. And then again, that's
there's also a hint, because whoever he's talking to on the radio, you don't know at that point in time, mentions his father.
Yeah.
So there's some connection between this person who's supposed to be dead talking to him on a CB radio. Is that a CB radio? Shortwave radio? I don't know.
Yeah.
You get the feeling that his father plays a bigger role in this than just the guy sitting in the nursing home.
Just the guy in the chair.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was one of my absolute favorite moments of this whole movie, is when he's sitting in his chair and those two hitmen or whatever they are come in, and as soon as he pops his eyes open, you can just see the worry on that man's face. He might have a gun pointed at him, but he's still like, uh-oh.
He's absolutely like, uh-oh.
I loved it. Because he hadn't done anything at that point. He just opened his eyes.
When Christopher Lloyd looks at you like that, everyone goes, uh-oh.
Yeah. It was great. I thought that was
I'm not going 88 miles an hour.
It's trouble.
Yeah.
Not going 88 miles.
But I liked the pacing of this. I think they did a good job making his life seem very repetitive and very boring.
In a short amount of time, too.
Yeah, this was a short movie, and I think they did a good job. It's obviously not super complicated or like heavy on character development or any of those things, but I think they still made a nice, complete picture, and it was a lot of fun.
No, it's just a good
They
old
also got to
action
the action
role.
quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think that was great. They just made it pretty fast-paced and lots of action.
I was a little curious at the beginning how long they were going to draw out the repetitive nature
The montage,
of his
yes.
day. Because they did it, then they did it, and they did it, and then they did it a little faster, and I was like, okay, we're coming to the end. And then you just kind of see him go through a day.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, are we going to have to like watch him go through like 3 days before they're finally like, all right, now we're getting to the movie. But they didn't do that, which was fortunate. And gave actually a little bit of backstory about him as well, about wanting to buy the business from his father-in-law.
Yeah, I think they did a good job with the monotony. They didn't carry that too long, but they also painted a great picture of him basically letting everybody step all over him.
Right. Yeah.
But I think for me, especially the second that he lowered the golf club, you already know there's something different. There's something extra in what he's done. It's not just, well, why didn't you take a swing? It's not coming from a place like that. He had a reason.
Yeah. Right. It wasn't, I don't want to hit somebody with a golf club.
Right. And then as you progress further into the movie and he mentions that the gun wasn't loaded, and it's like, okay, so he saw a bunch of other elements.
Yeah, he profiled them.
Right.
He profiled him, and then he saw the gun wasn't loaded, and he was like, all right. But
yeah, and I got the indication there was more to meets the eye with him when he was in the process of getting caught, calling the cops on the robbers, and the way that he recognized, or at least took note of the tattoo on the inside of her wrist.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a level of observance that your sheepish dad who gets walked all over doesn't have. So I knew at that point that there was more than meets the eye with this guy.
Right. Just didn't know what yet.
He's got a particular set of skills.
I do love that the techie, the hacker or whatever that got the information on him, like blackmailed the guy at the Pentagon to get the information.
Yeah.
And she gets it, packs up her shit, walks into the office, chucks it on the floor, and is like, I'm out of here. No need to pay me.
Yep.
She's like, I have no interest in being involved in this.
Nope.
There was a couple of those moments, like the guy at the tattoo parlor.
Oh, that was so good.
That was another moment that they drug on the locking of the door a little longer than you would expect, which just made it that much funnier.
And I love how the other two guys behind him started to drop their weapons, and the immediate response was, so what can I do for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was definitely, he was a person of respect. And as soon as he just got the hell out of there, it's like, so we shouldn't pick this fight. That's for sure.
Right. Old timer won't even be in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just won't be in the room, like completely removed. You're going to have
ensuring he can't come after me next.
Yeah, you're going to have to like get a bulldozer to take this door down.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was also a little bit worried that it was going to get a little silly when everything's fine until he realizes the kitty cat bracelet's missing.
Right.
And so it's a mix of, are we going to get some really good, like I was going to let it go, but you stole my child's bracelet and now I'm angry? Or is it going to get sort of silly and he's going to throw out these terrible one-liners and he didn't.
Yep. No.
it didn't go down that path at all. It was a really great sort of pivotal moment to send him on this hunt over a freaking kitty cat bracelet.
He did have a tendency to start to bare his soul to people that are dying. That die midway through his conversation.
I loved that because you can't explain yourself to other people.
Well, yeah.
So this is perfect. I'll start explaining myself to, oh man.
This is my outlet. You're dying, so I can tell you everything. And then dead. Yeah. It was good.
You never find that down to an elevator speech, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and from a movie watching perspective, it was a great way to get some more insight into him.
Yeah.
And it was a good way to give us backstory without making it feel sort of boring.
Without doing like flashbacks or, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was exposition that was earned.
You can hand us a ton of information in a short amount of time.
Right.
Yeah. Like he was an auditor.
And then he explains what that is. Yeah.
Right.
I thought that was a good touch.
Yeah. Because when he said it at the beginning about having served or whatever, and he was like, I was just an auditor. I was like, an auditor? In the army?
Right.
What?
I'm sure they have to have. I mean, you've got to keep the books in the army. There's got to be auditors, but
it seems weird.
It seems weird.
Yes, I can almost guarantee none of them possess a specialized weapon skill set.
No, probably not. I'm dangerous with a pencil.
Unless I could 10 key really fast. That's my murderous skill.
I've got a number 2 pencil and a green sheet. Come at me, bro.
You'll never have easy taxes again.
That's horrible. Anyway, no, I
that's more than enough accounting jokes.
Yes, it was. I really actually liked this movie, even though there wasn't like there didn't seem to be, I say, a soul to it. It wasn't something that just kind of grabs you, that you like feel the motivation for, other than, he's just a guy that's kind of been crapped on for at least a little while, and then somebody stole his daughter's bracelet, which wasn't actually stolen. Where it's just like, yeah, okay, but it was still fun to watch, right? There wasn't some deep underlying meaning that you can feel for.
Yeah, for sure. This movie was not deep. It did not possess a lot of heart or any of those kinds of things, but it was really enjoyable. It was a good movie to watch. It was, almost a popcorn movie without...
You know what? I'm going to disagree with you.
Oh, okay.
No, I think that this actually has a pretty good meaning. I was shocked by how much I love this movie. I had a really good time. It was way better than I expected. It was really well done, and it kind of knew what it was, and I appreciate that in any movie. But there was also, it's not said explicitly, but the movie does basically kind of run off this theme of that if you try to pretend that you're somebody you're not, then things are going to go down a bad path. It's not going to work out in the end. Almost every single one of his issues was stemming from the fact that he just wouldn't tell people what he really meant. I mean, most of his issues were not having the conversations that needed to happen. And it's not until he feels the vigor of murdering people again that he starts actually having those conversations. And things start going back to seem to start getting better. So and I'm not saying that murdering people is the way to go, but obviously, but that's not what made things better. What made things better is it kicked him out of his funk, and he actually started talking to his wife. And he was a little bit more genuine with his kids. And he, gave the damn good offer to his father-in-law. And, I don't know. It's not super deep. I'm not trying to claim that. I'm definitely not saying that this is some grand moral story or anything.
That's what I was waiting for you to get to, where like where the deep underlying meaning was. I was like,
no, but for a movie of this type, I felt like there was a lot better meaning than normal.
No, there was absolute purpose and enlightenment. There was a message to it.
Yeah,
and
there was a beginning and middle and end for the character arc.
Yeah,
which is not something we always get in movies like this. Often we don't. And so,
for sure.
Yeah, I thought that for a movie of this kind, it was damn good and had a lot to say.
Yeah, or they did sort of the same thing that Another Round did with alcohol.
Yeah, yeah, I suppose so.
I still need to see that.
Once you have a couple of drinks, then you realize your purpose, and you can have those conversations, and you can be fun and let go and remember your passion for life. So this just uses murder.
Hey, we all have our vices, right? Am I right?
So this is what the Another Round remake's going to end up being.
I don't know
the American version.
I don't know that it's going to be nominated for any awards if that's the case.
Possibly not. No, but yeah, this was certainly not just your regular cheap action thriller. It had more substance to it than that. I think that's why it has such a high fan score, because it had more to it. It gave you something else besides just cheap thrills.
Yeah. Well, and I think if anybody had gone into this expecting some sort of like deep, intricate story, then disappointment.
No,
but it's not what this movie is. It's not what this movie is about. And I think it knew that, and I think it did a perfect job of staying in its lane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is very simple and very predictable.
Yeah.
Man picks fight with wrong person brings a world of hurt. I mean, it's kind of how these movies go usually, and it was still great. It was so enjoyable, and I didn't feel disappointed. And I love that it was short.
Yeah, it was it was short. You loved that it was short.
I love a short movie that genuinely gets everything done.
Job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It did do that.
We don't always need a 2 hour and 45-minute battle for Middle Earth.
Or 4 hour battle for Middle Earth. Right. Sorry, I watched the extended edition.
They'll steal your soul, man. But it's good stuff.
Yeah, I can have it.
All right. Well, you guys want to get into favorite scenes?
Yeah, let's do
it. Absolutely.
Well, I'm going to go first this time.
All right.
Because mine's pretty short and we already covered it. It is absolutely when the two mobsters go to his dad's place at the nursing home.
Yeah.
And just all the way through to where the gunshots ring out and the nurse comes running down the hall and checks in on him. And he's holding one of them down and like covering their mouth to pretend like it was the TVs.
Right.
Yes.
Or the TV. Yeah. I thought that was great. It's kind of, I don't know. It was super charming. It was more Christopher Lloyd. Love the guy. And it was great to see his capability after seeing Bob Odenkirk Hutch kick so much ass all through the movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
See where he gets it from, right?
That was also
this is a family affair. Scene. That was your favorite scene as well?
Yes.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting through these quick.
From the moment the guy comes in there and they think it's going to be this super easy job because they just broke into a nursing home.
They walk past the guard that's asleep.
You are not expecting a fight in an old folks home.
No, they were going to shoot him and then leave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
In the noble way, you do. But then, he popped his eyes open and flipped that blanket off of his lap, and it's just a whole different experience.
Shotgun to the belly.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing nice.
But yeah, you're right. That moment where he's got a hold of him down by his knee. That was pretty funny. You've got to turn that TV down.
Yeah.
Which, holds the remote up.
You really think that was the TV?
Well, he's asleep.
Yeah.
Didn't actually hear it. He just heard it like...
Yeah, something just startled him awake.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
All right.
It's very good.
What about you, Daniel? What was your favorite scene?
We kind of touched on mine a little bit already as well, but it was when he had gathered up all of the bodies from the people that had stormed his house and put them on the couch. The one guy that's still dying, and starts his conversation with, well, him. Really, he's talking to all of them, but they're all dead except for one.
Yeah.
And just kind of goes into kind of why he's been doing the things he's been doing, why he has been the way he has, and kind of realizations that he's made in the past few hours, day, we'll call it.
Yeah.
Up until the point where the guy dies, he finishes his conversation anyway and basically tells him that they'll never be found because the basement is rigged basically to burn at 3 times higher than whatever.
Yeah, what you need to
1,500, 3 times higher than 1,500 degrees or
turn
whatever.
bones to dust.
Yeah.
That'd be 4,500, by the way.
4,500. Okay.
I think he said 3,000, but
okay.
Yeah, I think he said double,
and then it was
but...
it was 1,500 is where bone burns, and
gotcha.
There'll be no trace left because it burns at 3,000 degrees.
Gotcha. Well, I was close enough.
Yeah.
Really hot.
That was a good one.
I watched the movie last night. It's pretty fresh.
But I love the fact that he's walking out while the rest of the house is burning. So he puts on a record to burn the house down. He catches all the vinyl on fire. It makes sense. And then the rest of the house is burning down as he walks out, and he starts walking to his car.
I think he was walking to one of the gangsters' cars.
Yeah, that wasn't his car.
Well,
he took
his
somebody's
car,
keys.
not his car. Doesn't matter. The point is that he turns around and decides to go to get his neighbor's car instead.
Yeah.
Who, his neighbor's kind of an ass.
Not a sympathetic character.
No.
And then he uses the neighbor's quote kind of against him, even though the neighbor's not there to hear it. But it was funny. It was still funny nonetheless.
Yeah.
Before he tears out of the driveway and rips down the street. Just that whole piece.
It was pretty great.
Yeah. It's good.
Agreed.
Good moment in the movie.
Yeah.
Indeed. All right. Well, then I think that wraps up our coverage of Nobody.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hopefully you enjoyed our coverage. If you did, then please go online and like and subscribe. But make sure to join us next time on Were You Not Entertained?